part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
All right, we got the band plan. We got the fanfare podcast. We got the microprocessors. It's The Departed. JD Hyman is with me here. We're talking about this insane movie, JD. And here's the deal. It's going to be a lot of fun. Martin Scorsese has a movie coming out October 20th, Killers of a Flower Moon, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro. And to commemorate, we're going to be talking about this Academy Award winning film. Yes, Best Picture winner. 2006, The Departed, with Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon, Jack Nicholson, Mark Wahlberg, Alec Baldwin, Martin Sheen. JD, you pumped to talk about this movie? How you feeling, man?
Dude, okay, so I saw this movie years ago.
Yes.
And then I was like, I didn't think about it because it's one of those movies that when you watch it, you don't have to ever rewatch it again because it sticks in your head that much. But I decided to rewatch it again just for this. And I was blown away because I was not fully aware of what I was watching back then. But oh my gosh, this movie is insane.
It's absurd. It's absurd that it won Best Picture. Like it won
did.
like Best Picture. This movie has so many flaws, but I think it won Best Picture for a lot of reasons. You want to talk about that? You want to talk about that? How it won Best Picture?
Well, let's do the background and then then we need to talk about there's a lot we got to talk about.
Yeah, so I think we can talk about the movie itself without hitting spoilers and doing your whole synopsis, because I want to save the synopsis and the IMDb and the Letterboxd rankings and then jump to talking about the movie. I think we can talk about stuff. So Martin Scorsese, a legendary filmmaker, director.
Absolutely.
Movies such as Raging Bull, movies such as Goodfellas, Gangs of New York, and he had never won an Oscar.
Did you think that this film would be the one to win an Oscar though?
He didn't either.
Best. Did you think this movie would win Best Picture?
I don't think it was a particularly strong year. I don't remember who else. I wasn't surprised. I don't think he expected to win. I think a mixture of a makeup Oscar, like, oh, that's like a lifetime achievement Oscar for this movie. As insane as the movie is, it does a lot of things well, and it plays to its strengths. It lets its stars cook. I mean, it's just like 2.5 hours of Jack Nicholson doing insane things, Leo like legit being the best actor in the world, Matt Damon doing the actors delivered. Vera Farmiga, everyone was fantastic. It's everything around the characters is what just. It's so extra.
I am shocked that this movie didn't get a Best Actor award.
Well,
I'm shocked that it got Best Picture. I wasn't expecting that. I think this was like a pity Best Picture.
Yes.
But this definitely had some Best Actor stuff going on for sure.
So I looked into that. Leo is also in Blood Diamond this year from the same production company, and they tried to get him nominated or to win for that movie instead of this movie, which he probably would have won for this movie, but they didn't want to have him campaigning for two different movies from the same production company. So they chose Blood Diamond over The Departed. I did look into that because I was curious too.
That was a mistake.
Very, very much so a mistake. Very much so. Is this a cop movie or a gang movie?
It is.
Or is the answer yes?
It's neither.
What kind of movie is this?
This is a movie about church. This is a movie about the Catholic Church and the Irish heritage. This movie is about the history of Irish heritage.
Oh my gosh.
It just happens to have cops and gangs in it.
Are you going to expound on that now or later?
Later. We're gonna get into that later.
Themes. Yeah, we talk about themes. Okay. Now you got me thinking, Um, oh, I can't wait. Okay, so I think it's trying to be a lot of things. All right.
Yes.
Um, uh, this is like almost one of Jack Nicholson's last performances.
Yeah, before he retired. Okay, so let's kind of touch on this just a bit. So, is it a cop movie? Is it a gang movie? And the reason why I think it's more of a Irish Catholic heritage movie is simply because of the title, The Departed,
Sure.
and everything in this movie relates to the Catholic prayer of the dead, which is where, The Departed comes from.
Right. I have that
And
line written down.
the
Heaven
the
holds the faithful departed.
yes, heaven hold the faithful departed, or and may the souls of all the faithful departed through the mercy of God rest in peace. There is not just the dying, which the departed refers to, but you have people departing from their identities, from they're living a lie.
Okay,
And
yeah. Now you got me all pumped. Can we
see,
can we
okay,
circle
now,
back to this later?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Dude, oh my gosh, I love that. All right. This is crazy. 238 F-bombs in this movie, JD.
What you
238, the 45th most movie of all time with F-bombs, which comes out to about 1.5 F-bombs per minute in this movie. Someone on Facebook, I posted, we were doing this episode. Someone, I'm not going to say who, said, "Oh, is this a Christian movie?" And I said, "No." And they said, "I don't believe you." And I didn't respond. I'm like, oh, I'm not, whatever. If you want to do a family movie night, go for it. The answer is no.
This is not something to watch with the kids at all.
No. JD, I got some trivia here for you. IMDb style.
Okay.
Did you look into this?
And I don't know. Let's see what you got.
All right. Al Pacino turned down the part of Jack Nicholson of Frank Costello.
Okay, that was a mistake on his part. Although Jack Nicholson does a fantastic job in this role, so
I also agree, which I think we're in the minority with that. I think we're in the we'll talk about Jack later. Mel Gibson turned down the role for Alec Baldwin's part. He was doing Apocalypto.
Oh.
Ray Liotta was supposed to be Mark Wahlberg's part. Couldn't do it because of conflicts. And then Dennis Leary was offered the role and he couldn't do it.
Oh my gosh.
Because of Rescue Me. Oh, and just wait. Robert De Niro turned down the role of Martin Sheen's part.
What?
And Brad Pitt was supposed to be Matt Damon's part.
Okay. These people have to be kicking themselves.
Well, they were all doing other things. Brad Pitt stayed on to produce the movie. He's one of the producers.
Okay. Was he doing Mr. and Mrs. Smith or something when this was happening?
No, that was 2004. Another movie we got to cover on the fanfare because they're doing a remake. We could totally do a when that movie comes out, because they're doing a remake with Donald Glover and not Aquafina. She's in Pen 15. Oh my gosh, what's her name? I don't remember. Sorry. Anyway, no, I don't know why. I've heard. I listened to a couple podcasts about this movie.
Hang on, is that what we're calling that show? Pen 15?
That's on Hulu. Have you seen it? It is one of the funniest shows we've watched.
Okay.
Also not a Christian show.
Pen 15. I'll go with that.
Yeah, that's how it is. PEN 15.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Amazing stuff. Like legendary stuff.
We'll take over
Up next
and do that show. Yes,
bro. Leslie felt like she was seen. Like she cried. We had to stop so many times because she would be crying, laughing at that show. Anyway, so yeah, just a crazy, and that's all from IMDb. One of the shows I was listening to about this podcast, about this movie, said that he turned it down because he realized he was too old for Damon's part.
Brad Pitt.
Mm-hmm. That's what they said. I couldn't find that on IMDb because all that's from IMDb trivia. But yeah, crazy stuff. Like a totally different cast.
Totally. But still bangers though.
Bro, yes. Yes. All right, so we're going to be talking about The Departed. Spoilers, if you have not watched The Departed, you got to check it out. It's not streaming anywhere. I thought I had it. We ended up buying it on Apple Movies. I found the DVD later after I bought it, which was super stupid. I got the Blu-ray. So JD's gonna offer a breakdown. This is the highest rated Letterboxd film we've done on the fanfare at 4.3 JD. Without further, Raiders was 4.2. Without further ado, JD, lay it on us, man. The Departed.
The Departed is a 2006 American crime thriller that is loosely based on Boston's own Winter Hill Gang and is the remake of the 2002 Hong Kong film Internal Affairs by Alan Mack and Felix Chong. The film was written by William Monahan and directed by Martin Scorsese. Its star-studded cast includes Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon, Jack Nicholson, and Mark Wahlberg, with Martin Sheen, Ray Winstone, Vera Farmiga, Alec Baldwin, Anthony Anderson, and James Badge Dale in supporting roles. The film was produced by Brad Pitt, Brad Gay, and Graham King, distributed by Warner Brother Pictures, and made its theatrical debut on October 6, 2006. Against a $90 million budget, the film brought in just under $292 million at the box office, making it both a critical and commercial success. In true Scorsese fashion, the film was received well by both critics and audiences. At the 79th Academy Awards, the film won 4 Oscars for Best Picture, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Film Editing, and Best Director. The film maintains a 91% score on Rotten Tomatoes and an IMDb rating of 8.5 out of 10. In the film, South Boston cop Billy Costigan, portrayed by Leonardo DiCaprio, under direction of Captain Queenan and Staff Sergeant Dignam, portrayed by Sheen and Wahlberg, respectively, goes undercover to infiltrate the organization of gangland chief Frank Costello, portrayed by Jack Nicholson. As Billy gains the mobster's trust, a career criminal named Colin Sullivan, portrayed by Matt Damon, infiltrates the Massachusetts State Police as a spy and reports on his activities to his syndicate bosses. When both organizations learn they have a mole in their midst, Billy and Colin must figure out each other's identities to save their own lives. This is The Departed.
Bro, you're the best. You said you watched this. When did you remember seeing this first?
I remember seeing it when it came out. I don't know if I saw it. I definitely didn't see it in theaters, but I think, we bought the DVD or something like back when it came out. Mm-hmm. And I watched it in college, actually. So it was like my freshman year of college. We're just all in like the community room or whatever. We're all watching this movie. And, it was loud and I didn't really pay attention all that much. But I was kind of present for it. But when I was doing this rewatch, I was really present. And I was like, this movie's absolutely insane from literal start to the literal end.
It's immediately jarring.
Out of the gate. Out of the gate.
Immediately jarring. I watched this also in college. Every time that me and Leslie have watched it, she's fallen asleep, and that held true even for this rewatch.
How?
I don't know. She did wake up for the final minutes and was still just as confused, and she forgot how it ended again. So she just went through it all over again. I also watched it at my brother-in-law's bachelor party. We all watched it together. It's an awesome movie. I don't know. It's a super fun movie. The intro immediately jarring. JD, on your rewatch, what were some reactions you had? Just, in this rewatch when you're able to really focus and follow along.
Okay, so I don't think I saw the very beginning when I first watched this movie. But when I watched it this time, I was under the impression that I walked in on this, like back in college, I was under the impression that I walked in on the middle of a movie that was, like 3 hours long or something. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
maybe I missed the first, half hour or so. No, I didn't. It was just like right out of the gate. Like that's just how it was. Like
Right.
shooting people in the head right out of the gate.
Well, it's like the worst of the worst racial tones and slurs.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
the music, it's the music's jarring. And then the title sequence is 18 minutes into the movie. Like you have this weird montage, and the timeline is all not chronological. Like Leonardo's character is in a conversation with Martin Sheen and Queen and Indignum, which we're going to talk about the names in a moment, JD, because that is just absurd. So they're having this conversation, and then the movie cuts back through to get you caught up to where the movie starts officially, I guess. And it's just disorienting, and it's fast paced, and you just got to kind of be there for what it is. You can't think about it. You can't think about it, man.
Right. You cannot sit there and think what just happened. You're going to miss something else because they jump. I mean,
yes.
I wish I could count the number of cuts this movie had because
well, the one best editor, I think, right?
Well, and that's probably why, because they were they kept your attention. You were not sitting in one place for too long at all.
Dude, here's what I found just with the intro and the rewatch. I love seeing Damon and Leo on screen. I like seeing them in their prime. They're the best. They are so freaking good in this movie, and it was so good to see. I also like a good montage. That was great.
Yeah.
And when you see an actor having, I couldn't tell who was having more fun, Mark Wahlberg, Jack Nicholson, or Alec Baldwin, because every time they're on screen or have a line, they're just having the time of their life. And oh my gosh, it was so entertaining.
I'm gonna say Wahlberg was having the time of his life.
Bro,
man.
Wahlberg just dialed it up past 11. He was like, "Bro, you want insane Boston undercover investigative? I'm gonna give you that plus more." Insane stuff.
Just his insanity and Martin Sheen's just stoicism. He's behind him going crazy, insane. I love that whole thing. I love that.
They're playing good cop, crazy cop. They don't have a bad cop. It's a good cop, crazy cop. Every line, Wahlberg, you could have every one of his lines in the best line of the movie, because every one of them is just amazing.
Absolutely. It's short, sweet, and in your face.
Oh my gosh.
Every single time.
Just so entertaining. Dropkick Murphys, that's such a Boston song. It just the beginning was amazing. The beginning was amazing, and it was cool to see the comparison. I'm gonna touch on my theme here. You have Leonardo DiCaprio's character in prison, right, working hard to be where he is, but all of a sudden Matt Damon, he's in this Serenta State House, in this penthouse, and he just gets elevated, and he doesn't have to work for what he gets. Right. And so right from the gate, you see these two people going about life differently, having different experiences, and how they both achieve or success or go about their careers. And so I think they do a good job framing it there.
Yes. But I also think the way this movie is made, it is designed to make you take sides.
Yes.
You're either in Matt Damon's camp or you're in Leo's camp. And you're either rooting for Leo or you're rooting for Matt. And I think that dynamic played fantastic in this film.
Yes. They are featured prominently throughout the entire film. Almost every scene. There's a couple scenes where Jack is doing Jack things, which is very weird. But it's obviously these two A-list stars in 2006 just going at it.
Yeah.
And it culminates in this incredible end sequence, which we'll talk about in a moment. But I think we've touched on something, JD. You just have to take the movie at face value. This movie has zero cares. They don't care one of the 238 Fs about details in this movie. For example, the character names. Vera Farmiga's character, Madeline Madden. Her title is mental health professional. Sheen's character's name, Oliver Queenan. Wahlberg's character, Sean Dignam. Jack's character, Francis Costello. That's all right. Microprocessors,
Microprocessors.
Microprocessors. Alec Baldwin says this. I don't know what they are. You don't know who they are. You don't know what they are. Who cares? He says that in the movie, literally telling you, don't think about this. It doesn't matter. No one knows. No one cares. They show an image of the building they're made from. It's just called Mass Processor Company. That's the name of the building they show you who they're stealing these from.
Dude,
don't care about the details.
This is like Acme. This is Acme, right?
It truly is. Wile E. Coyote is going to be getting these microprocessors, but don't think about the details. And I think in this movie, Scorsese did a great job of just having these incredible actors in a scene and just letting them be the main focus, right? Like there is a plot, and the thread is throughout the movie, and it culminates in this incredible, like, oh my gosh, sequence at the end. But he's just like, look, we got Jack, we got Leo, we got Damon, we have Wahlberg for 5 scenes. Let's just let you guys do what you do, and I'm not going to get in the way. Yeah, we might have some MacGuffins or some like devices to move the plot along, but we're just going to let you guys do what you do. Don't care about the details of this movie. Enjoy the art for what it is, because they certainly didn't give 2 craps about the details of this movie.
No, they didn't. But I think they also, like, the only detail I think they paid attention to was ensuring that everybody's Boston accent was on point.
Except for Via Farmiga.
She tried. Okay. She tried.
A couple words. Don't think about how Damon interrupted an interrogation scene, turned the cameras off, and the cops were just like, wait, what's going on? Now one of them was actually another molt, so that kind of makes it just nothing makes sense. Don't worry about the details, just accept it for what it is, and it is in all of its glory. Jack Nicholson, let's talk about him.
Insane, crazy. He has been in this business so long. He is beyond reproach at this point. He's like, I've been doing this for 80 years. They haven't caught me yet. They're not going to catch me. He's like so careless at this point that
that's a good word. Like his character was so careless,
beyond careless.
But I think that added to like his power and how terrified you would be of him.
But
he didn't care.
He did not. He did not. He did not care. He just did not care.
That was terrifying.
Well, it kind of goes to show, like, what kind of power somebody has if they are that upfront with their criminal activity and have no afterthought whatsoever. Just like, oh, clean that up,
Clean that up, holding a man's hand,
like,
right?
In a bag, like playing with it.
Like it was intimidating. It was, a lot of people did not like his performance. They thought it was too insane, too crazy. I thought it was very intentional. I thought it, like, the over exaggerated, like, sexual tones or how he treated, I think it was very, very intentional, just to add to his character. Like you said, to add to the power he had, the control he had, how just the world literally was his oyster. And it had been for a very long time. A lot of his lines were just so delicious too. We're all on our way out, act accordingly, right? Like he just has a lot of, you can't trust a guy with nothing to lose. Shades of the Joker, honestly. I feel like he kind of pulled a little bit of his chaos from the Joker. There was even a scene in the intro where it's like shadowy, where he steps out of the shadows, kind of like the Joker. Reminded me a lot of Batman. He's insane. Frenchie is awesome. His like posse is like an incredible group of cronies that just seemed to fit his whole positive culture that he had there. Really, it wasn't really a toxic workplace as long as you did what you were supposed to do.
Okay. So whose camp were you in?
Leo's camp all the way, man.
Okay. So I'm not crazy.
No.
I'm telling people about this movie and they're like, oh no, like they are in Sullivan's camp the entire time. And I'm like, are you insane? Are
Sullivan,
you insane?
he's the worst.
The absolute worst. The absolute worst.
And the movie really also almost goes out of its way to try to help you feel that he is the worst. A compulsive liar is very similar to Leo's character, right? But
yeah,
just the bizarro version of this, who has lied his whole life, who does have two lives, just is taking advantage of everything he can. Everything's been given to him. And he just takes and 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 takes. Yeah, I don't think I've ever met anyone who's like pro Damon or Salt. Like, it's just, it feels weaselly, and I don't know. Did you know character? Did you catch it? He has ED
no, I was not
in the movie.
No, I didn't catch that.
There's a scene where after they move in together, she's like, "It's okay, it happens. It's not. It's uncommon. It happens to everybody." And he's just kind of like super dejected. And then they hammer it home with this awesome scene where Alec Baldwin at the driving range, and he's like, "Marriage is good. Shows you your pecker works, and you got some money, and whatever." And he's like, "How's your marriage?" He's like, "Oh, working overtime or whatever." He's like, another lie, right?
Well, he was probably so stressed out living this double life of his that he couldn't keep it up.
I don't know. Yeah, totally Camp Leo. No one acts manic better than Leonardo DiCaprio.
I agree. And I think he did a fantastic job in this role. Fantastic. He was like just jittery enough, just on edge enough, it was just enough. It wasn't too much.
Reminded me of a little bit of Shutter Island, a little bit of Inception. You can kind of see him pulling maybe from some experience here. Incredible stuff. It took me a minute to recalibrate his conversations with the counselor, Via Farmiga's character. Was he talking to her as a gang member or as a undercover cop?
I think he was talking to her as an undercover cop.
I felt like when he first started,
why would a gang member be talking to the therapist?
I think that was part of, he got out of prison. It was part of his prison.
Oh, like, no. You're right. Yeah. That was like part of his cover. He had to go see a therapist. You're right. He was talking, but not as a gang member per se, but as a parolee.
A parolee, because he's talking about how the cops have to go see her. But then at some point it switches and he does become vulnerable with her, I don't even know. I don't want to get into the details. I don't really.
He was tired of living his double life. Like, it was stressing him out. Like, he wasn't able to hold it together the same way that Matt Damon was able to hold it together. And that's probably because, with Leo's character, he was in the gang. They could, shoot him in the head at any moment.
Yeah.
Sullivan had the protection of the entire Massachusetts State Police behind him. So that's probably why he wasn't as jittery or jumpy. But he was still pretty stressed out,
Yeah.
I'm correlating his ED to the fact that, all of his blood was in his head trying to keep his story straight. So.
Yeah, no, Matt Damon had ED. Leo's character didn't.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, he was so stressed out. Yeah. That's why he couldn't. Yeah.
Yeah. Leo, incredible stuff.
Do you have a favorite line in the movie?
Yeah, Wahlberg's every line.
My favorite line is Frank Costello's when he says, "One of us had to die. With me, it tends to be the other guy."
Yeah. Here's what I learned. Well, okay, one more on rewatch that I found. Flip phones. I loved hearing the flip phone snap. It is so emotive, and I miss a flip phone. I miss closing it hard or opening it and feeling like in Star Trek. Like I like your flip phone, and it was a moment in time where this movie like clap 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 like is a lot of flip phone action, and I loved hearing that sound. It brought back good memories. I like the flip phone.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, there was definitely a lot of, it definitely aged itself because I had forgotten about flip phones until literally this movie and all that click, click, clatter you heard. But um, Martin Sheen was one of my favorite characters in this movie.
Okay.
And that scene where they're down by the river and they're fighting and they're like, all right, well, now you got to get in the car because people saw us.
Yeah.
And I think he should have went out, shooting or
Differently than
I hated how he went out. How he went out.
Very fatherly. And you really feel a desperation. Like he has no one at that point. Like at that point, he was just like, he is Leo. Like that would be.
That's why he turns to Vera's character more, because he loses the only connection he has to his life.
Is that how undercover work really is? How real is this, JD?
I think this is like this is stretching it. There's like undercover, there's deep cover, and then there's this. Like this is borderline like CIA, like moles, like
which is so dumb because Frank Costello Jackson's an FBI informant the entire time. Everything was pointless.
Right. And it's like I don't know, the protection that Wahlberg had for his CIs was like way over the top. Like he almost knew that the police force was corrupt. Like, he didn't want to give up his guys for anything. Like he knew. I don't know. It's like he already knew they were corrupt.
Like we said, don't get into the details of this. Don't try to think too much about logic. Just enjoy what you're watching and the art that is Scorsese. What were some of your favorite scenes?
This is like sleeper cell stuff going on.
Bro, I don't kind of scratching my head at this whole Queen and Dignum like, is that really a legit program, or are they just doing something on the side? They're just saving up money to give this guy a bonus.
Did he walk through the front door, or did they bring him through? Like,
that's another great question.
Like, how did he get in? Like, they would have seen him in there.
Damon, or they would have crossed paths with Via Farmiga. Like, there's no way this would have gone on for a year or 2 years without them seeing, or especially when you're chasing him. Like, how do you not see the side of his face at that porn theater or running through town?
Yeah, it was over the top. Favorite scene was so that scene in that adult movie house when Jack Nicholson has that dildo. I thought that was hilarious. And then the scene when they meet up with the Chinese.
That whole surveillance microprocessor scene is just amazing. The Patriot Act, baby, gotta love it. Right? Alec Baldwin's like loving the Patriot Act surveillance. Damon does also, if we're talking about this, how does the cops not see Damon every time something's going on, going to call his dad and act fishy in this scene? Like, dude.
So fishy.
Like, oh, you're doing it now? All right, give me 1 second. Let me call home real quick. Right?
Like, nobody hears him on that T9 clicking in his pocket, like
blind texting
click, 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 click.
In the pocket. Could you have made that text in 2006, JD? Were you a T9 expert?
I needed two hands. I could do it under the desk, but there's no way. I don't know if I could have done that with one hand. I mean, I don't know how he did it. I mean, if I had the phone in my hand and then put it down, I could have done it. But
I think it's what he did. He like had it, he unlocked it and put it in his pocket.
But he like went through the contacts. He went and found a contact in there without looking. That's the part that kind of threw me. I
had a Nokia and I could get to Snake real quick. And I knew exactly over 1, down 2, or whatever that, like, I was like, hey.
He didn't know who he was texting. He could have been texting anybody.
Oh man, unbelievable. That is an incredible scene. He's like, "Who are you? I'm the guy who does his job. You must be the other guy." Right? Like it's just incredible stuff by Wahlberg. I think that scene and the final scene where Damon shoots Jack Nicholson is the same area. They just added construction cars in like a half circle where Damon shoots Jack Nicholson's character. I think it's the same place.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They're just like, let's just throw some big cats out there and we'll come back.
You gotta remember, $90 million budget. That was cast. Okay.
Oh yeah.
That was cast. That was not anything.
Yeah. And also in that scene, that's one of my favorite scenes too, though. Jack is speaking complete nonsense to these Chinese guys. He's like, this ain't reality TV. Like, nothing makes sense. And anything that he's trying to communicate to these people, it's not intimidating. It's stupid. It's not intimidating. It literally is gibberish. It makes no sense.
And then they just put away their guns. Like,
yeah. Oh my gosh. All right. I liked Alec Baldwin and Matt Damon at the driving range. He's like, I have an immaculate record. Marriage is important to get that whole scene is just hilarious. Oh, dude. All right. Okay. Another one of my favorite scenes. I would not cut it as an undercover cop. You want to know why?
Why?
Because if someone breaks open my broken hand cast and smacks it with the boot.
Oh my God.
JD, we talked about this on the podcast about when I felt like pain when they threw someone in a tank of needles and saw.
Yeah.
This is the only other scene in all of my movie watching history that I've like cringed and had to almost turn away because I could feel that pain.
This was definitely
and I would have
at the top of my cringe list. That was painful for me.
Yes.
I felt that. And I usually don't like associate, but that and syringe pool from Saw.
Yes. was that on air or was that off air after a show? It was at the end. Know. I don't remember either.
But that's definitely like one of the cringiest Saw scenes that I've ever. No, it's not. It's not. It was until I don't know which one it was. The one where they were doing the pound of flesh.
I don't remember that one.
It's like the beginning part. They're all stuck to something.
I've only seen the first two.
He's like, you got to give your pound of flesh. And so they start like trying to cut out their stomach. And he's like cutting his fat out. And the one lady just hacks her arm off and puts it on the scales.
Oh, jeez.
Those movies are insane.
So, but that scene, Jack and Leo, I wouldn't have cut it, man. I'd be like, okay, stop. Oh, yeah, I'm undercover. Yeah, like then I would have died. I'm not cut to be an undercover cop. That's also the beginning where he punches a guy and Jack's crony is like, I'm the guy who tells you can't hit and you can't hit. Now he's not quite a guy you can't hit, but it's almost a guy you can hit. Now I'm going to make just a fun, awesome line. Like this is super cool. I like that whole scene. Or the cranberry juice stuff.
Cranberry juice.
Yeah, and then you got to throw the last like 15 minutes up here, man, right?
Okay. Okay, so I like how Leo, I want to call him Costa again, but I don't want to like keep switching back and forth. I'm just calling him by the real names.
Yeah.
I like how Leo figures out that it's Matt Damon.
The lawyer gives him like the tapes.
It's no. When he goes into
the envelopes,
and he sees the one where they wrote on, and that's when he's like, oh my gosh, I know who this guy is. And he makes his plan to catch him and bring him in. That whole scene just shook me.
Yeah.
Because I was not expecting Leo to get blown away the way he got blown away.
At the end?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that took me out. And I forgot about I don't know.
You forgot about it too?
I must have blacked that out because
oh my gosh.
When I saw that, there was an audible gasp.
Yeah.
But then everybody else gets blown away too. And I'm like, what is happening in this movie?
Incredible ending. So, Okay, can we talk about the envelope and the names thing first?
Yes.
Okay. I have 3 kids. I have a daughter who's 8 and a son who's 3 who loves candy and who knows the exact order and how their candy looks anytime they have it. Now, let me tell you, if I take one of their candies, I'm going to make sure to put everything back the exact way it was so there's not a World War III meltdown when they come back to their pile of candy. Why would he not have just put it back the way it was? It wouldn't have been hard. And I think that would have been a very logical, oh man, I can't let him know that I know because he's looking, I don't know. Put it back the way it was. I don't know.
No, I get it. He showed his hand and it's in the script. It's in the script.
That's true. I'm not thinking about the details. I'm thinking too much about the details. They just needed to get to the elevator scene.
The guy who doesn't rat Leo out.
Oh yeah. Like the guy who texted Leo the wrong address and Leo still showed up.
Yes.
So, okay. The news said that he was a cop. Jack said he wasn't, that they were just trying to make Jack think that they did get the cop. What do you think?
I don't know because he questions him why did he show up to the right address even though I gave you the wrong address?
I think he was a cop. Because the one Irish guy's like, man, I did dig. I dug down so deep. And the Jack's like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. Next time you do it, make sure you dig down. Or that they have that exchange. I think it parallels the reveal that Jack has another mole in the unit. This parallels that the cops had another guy and maybe another department in Jack's unit. And he was trying to protect Leo's character. Because that's when he found out it was Leo.
Yeah.
Because I think he was trying to know who the other mole was. Because he didn't want to
Okay, so what was Leo's plan?
I don't know.
If this guy had not croaked over the 2 seconds after, what was his plan? Was he gonna shoot his way out of there? What was he gonna do? Because he pulled the gun out. He's ready to shoot this guy because he knows too much. What then?
I think Leo would have sold him out.
You think he would have shot him and said, "Oh, he was the spy"?
Yeah.
Even though he's the new guy?
Yeah.
That would have been way too suspicious.
Maybe. I don't know. Damon shot the other mole.
I guess that's true.
I don't know. I didn't know this was a remake. I don't even know if I want to watch it. I don't want. This is The Departed. This is it. So yeah, the ending. Leo gets Damon up on the same roof where Queenan, stupidest name ever. Well, no, one of these stupidest names. Dignam is dumb. Madden is dumb. They're all dumb names.
I mean, Oliver Queen.
Yeah, they're just They have a fight, which was awesome. You're thinking he's finally going to, be able to start a new life. Opens the elevator, bullet through the head.
Man, that tore me in half. I was like, oh my gosh, why did I not remember this? I don't know. I don't know why I didn't remember that, but that was
blood everywhere.
That shocked me. I'm like, Leo.
Well, and then Anthony comes in and he gets shot.
Yeah. And then he's like, oh, you thought he was the only one in the department?
Right. So
and then bam. Wait,
did you remember the Wahlberg part at the end?
Oh yeah.
I also have I think Wahlberg also worked for Costello.
No. I think Madeline Madden gave him the tape.
Maybe. I don't know. He left the door open. He just literally didn't care who saw it.
Okay, clearly he did not care about anything the entire movie.
That is also true. He is the law. Dignam is the law. We pledge allegiance to the Dignam.
I mean, he had his little booties on, so I think that was the most he was willing to effort he was willing to put in to conceal his crime.
Not really a cop move though, man.
to wear booties?
to just kill someone.
I don't know. He had angry issues, dude. Like he was wired up. And then when Queenan died, and he knows like Queenan died because you got a crooked cop. He hated crooked cops. He made that very evident.
Yes, but also when Leo reached out to that Anthony's character
Yeah.
on the roof, he said, "Did you bring Dignam? Why didn't you bring Dignam?" And Dignam didn't come. If you go back and watch, because I
Oh yeah,
rewound it. He's like, "Did you bring Dignam? Where's Dignam?" Like he wanted Dignam because he's the only one who knew who Leo was, and he didn't come for whatever reason. The road needs plenty of bartenders, 2 weeks pay, or whatever. Like whatever he's doing. I don't know. Why would you just disappear? I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. All right. Let's talk about themes, man. Oh, do you have any other scenes?
No. That was it.
What a fun movie, man. Gosh, so entertaining. I'd watch it right now. Tell me about your theme, man, because I love that theme. Lay it on us.
Okay, so I felt like the whole movie was about two people who had to depart from their own life in order to serve a higher loyalty that they respected. And so not only are they deceiving other people, they're deceiving themselves, and it creates this unbearable duplicity within both of their lives. So I think them having departed from their authentic selves created this rift, which caused Sullivan to be a little careless, and it caused Leo to be a little manic. And I think that kind of plays against both characters. So I think them being departed from themselves, and you can kind of see with Leo really wanting to get his identity back. He has been departed from his identity for so long to do this job that he feels is complete at this point. You know, he's like, you've got all these crimes. Why have you not arrested this guy yet? Like, I've got you all this stuff. I want my life back. I want my identity back. Like, I want to go back. He wants to go back whole. And he's spent this entire movie separated from himself. And it's just causing more and more like layers of frustration within him. And I think that is what kind of drives his character.
I love that, JD. Gosh, that makes so much sense. Yeah, I think movies can have multiple themes, but I mean, yeah, I think, gosh, the theme that I found was it's a commentary on class and society, where it shows two people going about different means to get their to kind of like find their dream, to get what they want, and how it all leads to ruin. They sell their souls to different ways to do whatever, and it all leads to ruin. And if you just like in your theme, anytime they show Leo or Damon advancing or talking to a boss, then it shows the other person talking to their boss, or getting with someone and there was someone else. Or it's just, they always have this kind of like juxtaposition between the two characters as they are growing or advancing. When Matt Damon, when he is telling Alec Baldwin's character, right when Wahlberg is 2 weeks pay, he asks for all the boxes and is like kind of like bossing them around. And the next scene is Leo with Jack saying, who thinks they could do what you do but better? Like they're also giving like input and trying to boss their overhead around.
Right.
And it's just this really fun kind of like cat and mouse. It all leads to ruin. We didn't talk about the score of the movie. I guess we will later.
Yeah, we will later.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, let's take a quick break. When we come back, The Departed time to do the report card, JD. Fanfare. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is JD from the Hyman Podcast, a place to have hard conversations revolving around the overall human experience. We tackle topics such as racism, the American justice system, and even headlining news such as the Alex Murdaugh saga. This season, we're going to continue to tackle more hard-hitting topics, and I'm excited to take you on that journey. The Hyman Podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. The Hyman Podcast is produced in conjunction with the Hyman brand and is part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
What's up, everyone? Chase Smith here, host of the Chase Smith Podcast, and my podcast reflects who I am. My hobbies, my interests, my passions, my curiosities, my careers, my questions, and my family. I'll spend time talking about all types of sports, movies, TV shows, trending news stories, and other cultural events, and even faith. This is who I am, and I hope I can get to know you as well. Join me on the Chase Smith Podcast, and let's have some thought-provoking conversations, only on the Press Play Podcast Network.
Welcome, everyone, to Podcast 616, the official podcast of Earth 616. I am your host, Damon Royster, and I am inviting you to listen and subscribe to this Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast. On Podcast 616, we gather some of today's greatest comedians, writers, and actors to dive deep into all things Marvel, like comic book history and lore, all the interconnected superhero storylines, and of course, who's hot and who's not in the MCU. Honestly, why aren't you listening right now? You have the power to listen to Podcast 616. And as we always say, with great power comes even greater responsibility. Listen and subscribe to Podcast 616 wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, Brooks here with the Books with Brooks monthly book club podcast. Here's how Books with Brooks works. We read one book a month, and then we talk about it. Classics like Stephen King's The Shining, debut novels like We Are the Brennans by Tracy Lang, and tons of other compelling, life-changing stories, one book and 1 month at a time. So come read along with us, and then listen in.
Hey everyone, this is Don Mike Mendoza, the host of Producing While Asian. Join us in Season 2 for more conversations with actors, artists, producers, and more from Broadway, Hollywood, and beyond, every other Wednesday on the Press Play Podcast Network.
We are excited to announce that we are joining the Press Play Podcast Network. The Krypton Report podcast is dedicated to all things Superman, Supergirl, and the planet Krypton. We discuss movies, TV, game, comics, and all things DC.
So join me, Tyler, with my co-host James and Jania.
So join us as we explore DC's multiverse.
Look for Krypton Report on all social media platforms.
All right, it is that time. The Departed. Report cards are due. The grades are in. JD, let's give a grade here to The Departed. Acting is our very first category. Well, first off, we have 8 categories. We're going to grade this movie A through F scale, weighted just like a GPA, and see what we come out to be. We've done this with Crazy Stupid Love, Remember the Titans, and you weren't there for that one, JD. We did it for you weren't not there. Raiders of the Lost Ark. Is this our third one?
Yeah, this is our third one, yeah.
Our third one, okay.
But
yeah.
the fourth
all right,
overall.
so the first category here we have is acting on performance, the main actors, the supporting role. JD, what do you got, man?
A+ all the way.
I agree wholeheartedly. I would do A++. We still haven't figured out how to weight these grades. But A+,
We're a work in progress, but
incredible cast. Jack, arguably one of the best actors.
yes. But
Ever.
everybody brought their A game. Everybody.
Via Farmiga is like a star now. Like
Yes.
then no one really knew who she was, but she's just like the horror movie queen.
Literally.
Literally. Damon Leo 06. I don't know if there's who would those characters be now?
Oh, that's a good question.
I got it.
Who?
I just won. And I didn't have this before. I just asked. Glenn Powell would be Matt Damon and Chalamet would be Leo. That's it. That's Departed in 2023.
Okay. I'll allow it.
Yeah, because it works. And then Pacino in the Costello role finally gets to do it. Wahlberg, who I just cast him again. Hey, just do everything you did again. Dude, what if he played every role? If someone could like make an internet cut of just like Wahlberg playing every role in the movie, that'd be hilarious. I'm sure we could do it. All right, star power, name recognition, previous work, A+ for me again.
Total A plus, absolutely.
I know this is kind of like at the beginning of Damon's career, but I mean of Leo's career, but Damon is, I mean, already won an Academy Award at this point. Good Will Hunting and Rounders. Just has it. Oceans. He's in Oceans, right? Another incredible movie. Leo,
he has a pretty decent resume at this point.
Aviator. When was Catch Me If You Can?
That was before this. That was
okay. Did Scorsese do Aviator? I think he did. This is like, or is that Spielberg did Catch Me? I think Scorsese.
Spielberg. Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah, that was Spielberg.
We're talking about Aviator.
Yeah. Who directed that movie? We're looking. I know this is riveting podcasting.
We'll cut it out.
Yeah, Martin Scorsese. Aviator, 2004. Anyway, they've collabed on quite a bit.
Yeah, but did you know that Brad Pitt or Leo has like one of the longest like producing credits? Like he produces a lot of movies.
Really?
Yeah, he's got like 48. He's got 48 producer credits.
That's what I feel like I see. What has he produced? I don't know. I feel like I've heard Brad Pitt producing. I've heard of other people. I don't think I've seen his name with like. I'm sure I've heard of stuff.
I mean, Orphan, Runner, The Ides of March.
Interesting.
I mean, obviously, The Wolf of Wall Street.
He produced. Okay, Scorsese again.
Yeah, he produces a lot of stuff.
Gosh, this. Yeah. All right. Cinematography, storytelling without words. JD, where are you at here?
A again.
If we're doing storytelling without words, like if I watch this on mute,
you would probably have an aneurysm, but
I think I have to go a B-, because I think this is pretty dialogue heavy.
I don't know. I feel like this would make a really good silent film. I mean, I'm just imagining this in black and white, and I don't know. I feel like it. I don't know. I think it would work.
It's like Sin City, but not a comic.
And I think they would like go all like what's his name? They would just like show all the blood in red or something like that.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe B's. I'll take away the minus. I'll do a B.
Okay.
Because I think if we're saying that they acted incredibly well, and Leo and Damon could show their internal strife, and Via Farmiga can look confused from across the table, and I think you would be aware of his ED more if you watch it on silent. She's always disappointed whenever she's with him. She's never like.
Yeah, she had no problem cheating on him. Like,
no, it's like, oh, that's why she's with Leo. Oh, he probably has some problems.
She had no problem cheating whatsoever.
Okay. Well, maybe B is a little low anyway. I don't know. Should I change it back to an A? Should I change it to an A?
I don't know. I mean, if you think it's a B, you think it's a B. That's okay. I just feel like I'm looking at Leo's, like he was like struggling so much, like you could see the struggle, and with Sullivan's character, you see calm and cool and collected, and he slowly starts to kind of go off the rails as Frank kind of ups the ante, and he's like, oh gosh, it's like so hard to keep up with this dude, but he respects him so much So you can kind of see his calm start to diminish a little bit. And so I think it would work if you didn't have sound. But
B plus. I went to B
okay.
plus.
Okay.
Um,
I'm like fighting for points, guys. Like,
no, audio, sound design, and score.
well, A.
Dude, the music in this is pretty fantastic.
It is beyond fantastic.
The flip phone itself, just just that audio, I'm like, oh, this is fantastic. But Rolling Stones, they had the Comfortably Numb in the love scene. Dropkick Murphys hits like 3 different times. Like, it's just it matches the tone of the movie. I give it an A. What do you give it?
A. All the way.
This movie is crushing these categories. Costume design.
I'm going to say B. I want to say B here.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I don't think they have a ton to work with.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think anything was distracting.
It's like classic mobby. Like,
yeah.
I don't
know
think
enough about Boston culture to be like, oh yeah, that they look like.
I don't know enough about mob culture, but I feel like you're not gonna be able to walk out on the street and say, okay, there's a mobber right there, like,
right.
And in this situation, it's like, okay, well, they are clearly mobsters. Like,
yep. Screenwriting. I'm gonna
A.
give this an A. Yeah. Gosh, I don't even know if directing. I mean, my goodness. I mean, you haven't given me a grade, but I'm going to say A, JD.
I can't give Scorsese notes on this.
I know, right? They won an Academy Award, I think, for directing, and you said screenplay, right? Screenwriting.
Yeah. Best adapted screenplay. Yeah.
I'll.
Who are we to go against that?
Movie poster. The 4-picture frame. There's like the 3 faces and right.
Yes. I'm
gonna go A.
It was an A. I liked it. I put that on the wall.
It speaks to this is what you're getting. You're getting Jack, you're getting Damon, you're getting Leo, and Boston.
Yeah, I like it. I also like that it looks puzzly almost. It kind of speaks to the whole Departed tone. Like, I like it.
Whew. All right. So give me a moment. We're going to do this GPA here. I mean, we okay. All right. Yeah. Give me a moment. We'll come back and we'll give our grades. All right. Here we go. We have the GPAs. I gave The Departed 2 Bs and 6 As. JD gave The Departed 1 B and 7 As. My GPA came out to be a 3.25. JD's 3.75.
Woo!
The Departed. Smoking, man.
It earned every one of those A's.
I agree. Hold on. Let me make sure my math right. 6 and 4 is 24. I did mine wrong. Mine's 28 instead of 26.
Math is hard.
I was like, 3.25 sounds too low for, 3.5. There we go. Higher than Indiana Jones.
Whoa.
This is the highest graded movie we've done, JD.
Wow. What do we got? I didn't think we were going to beat Indiana Jones.
I don't know what movie is going to hit this. I don't know. I don't know if movie's going to beat it. Either way, that is The Departed, and this is one of my favorite rewatches we've done. I've loved every movie I've rewatched, but this was just so much fun. Thank you all so much for downloading and listening to the Fanfare Podcast. Shouts to the Pressplay Podcast Network for making this possible. Make sure to follow us on Twitter. We follow you back. JD, dude, it was just as much fun talking to you about it. I love what you bring to the table, man.
Dude, I wish we could just sit here and like watch these movies together and like just be commentators on movies. Like,
so one of the things that Tyler's talked about doing is doing just a live commentary during a movie. So we'd be like, hey, we're going to watch Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire, and we're all going to start at the same time and just like talk about it as it's
Oh,
watch,
that would
and
be that would be cool.
we record our commentary.
Let's do it.
Maybe not that movie, but that sounds fun.
Oh yeah, definitely not Spider-Man, but for sure. Dude, have you started Gen V?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Have
Yeah,
not.
I really hope that's on Up Next. We got to take over Up Next and like,
Did we just finish Only Murders tonight?
oh, I need to finish the new season.
Yeah. It just finale was tonight. I was wrong in my prediction.
I hate that they're doing like one episode, like
Yeah.
these releases. Just give me everything so I can binge. I don't have time for this.
I like the one. I like the weekly release.
You really like that?
Yeah,
No,
dude, we can't get through Mythic Quest because it's just all there, and we're just like, ugh.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. Well, JD, dude, you're the man, and I would be your undercover agent anytime, bro.
Dude, always great doing these with you. I love it. This is fantastic.
All right, we'll catch you next time on the Fanfare. See ya.